Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago. It's something
Sitting
that's
here,
been under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Andrew, your unapologetic left-wing patriot. Because loving your country doesn't mean blindly following the people in power. It means fighting for the truth, for justice, and for the millions of hardworking Americans who actually make this country great. Today, I want to talk about something that should outrage every single American, regardless of political party. A video surfaced from a CBS News hearing where a congressman absolutely torched Trump's trade chief over the sudden, unannounced pause on tariffs. And let me tell you, the chaos, the incompetence, the disregard for real Americans, it's staggering. Let's break this down.
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the
Congress.
pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the
We've had
details?
discussions.
How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've
So
been
the
in this
trade
hearing.
representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have.
And
I've just been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet? WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago sitting here. We saw you.
we've been discussing a
If
variety
you
of these
came
actions
here
for-
knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference that as part of your testimony?
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses. I had a group of small businesses in my office earlier today talking about the impacts of these tariffs on aluminum and steel. This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop. What does this even mean for your negotiating strategy? How are you in charge of negotiation if the president is tweeting about this from wherever the hell he is?
The president was elected, and he runs the trade policy, and I advise him and execute his trade
Who
policy.
executes the trade policy?
I execute the trade
Did you
policy.
know
with the president.
that this was happening?
We have been discussing all kinds of
And there's another
options.
member of the cabinet, Bessent, who just canceled coming to the Hill to avoid talking about the market because it's in turmoil. This in just days because there was no strategy, there was no plan. The president chose to take actions that he didn't even have the authority to take. He's put our economy in disarray and near collapse. We have small businesses and Americans who are concerned about their well-being, people's retirement, people's 529 accounts went down because of this administration. We have people that are planning to send their kids to college this fall. People who are retiring whose benefits have declined. Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
You're,
That has offshored,
and
all of our factories.
And what has that done?
Offshored all of
How
our
have you
jobs.
done? How have you achieved any of that? But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it? Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people. WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you. I wish I could feel some empathy, but the empathy I have is for the American people whose very well-being and livelihoods are being affected. This is not a game. This is real life. I yield back.
Let the record reflect that there's more Republicans in this chamber than there are Democrats currently in this committee room. There's 6 of us, there's 5 of you. So let's make sure we get the facts right. I appreciate the president did not blink on China, as was said earlier, and it needs to be corrected in the record. In fact, he increased China by 125%.
Would you yield, Mr. Chairman?
I do not.
Can we have a colloquy?
No.
We don't want to talk about the trade policy here in the Trade Committee. This is our jurisdiction.
Your time has expired, and I'm more than happy to talk to you.
I asked if you would yield.
And I said no.
Because you don't want to defend the policy or the strategy. Kick me out. What you gonna do? Kick me out of
Mr. Yakum, you're recognized.
So here we are, in a congressional hearing about trade. And the U.S. Trade Representative, the person who's supposed to be in charge of negotiating on behalf of the American people, finds out mid-hearing that the president paused tariffs. While he's testifying. Think about that. No internal briefing. No mention in his opening remarks. Just, boom, another presidential tweet, another policy shift. This is what happens when government is run by ego, not strategy. You're telling me the trade rep, the guy whose job it is to execute policy, didn't know this major policy change was coming until it was already public? What kind of operation are we running here? And the congressman asked the exact right question. WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure isn't the trade representative, and apparently, it's not Congress either. This is government by impulsive tweet. Zero planning, zero coordination, zero accountability. This isn't just a political gaffe. This is reckless. When you're playing with tariffs, you're playing with real people's jobs, small businesses, markets, and savings accounts. This isn't reality TV. This is real life. Let's talk about who's actually feeling the pain from all this. It's not the billionaires. It's not the hedge fund CEOs. It's everyday Americans. It's the family that runs a machine shop and now can't afford steel. It's the small-town farmer who's getting hit by retaliatory tariffs from China. It's the retiree who just watched their 401k take a nosedive. It's students losing college savings. And for what? Where's the win here? What has this administration achieved, besides economic whiplash and global uncertainty? As a congressman said, this is amateur hour. And honestly, it's not just amateur, it's dangerous. Now let's get to the part where another Republican tries to gaslight us by claiming Trump didn't blink on China, that he actually increased tariffs by 125%. Listen, you can increase tariffs all you want on paper. But if it's done without a coherent plan, without consultation, and without preparation, then it's not strength. It's flailing. Real leadership isn't about bluffing your way through a trade war and hoping no one notices you're losing. Real leadership is transparent, strategic, and accountable. The congressman brought up something really important: market manipulation. Now, I'm not saying it is, but if a government official or president makes sudden, surprise announcements that shift markets, especially if insiders know ahead of time, how is that not at least worth investigating? Because here's the thing. People do get rich off chaos. Some billionaire somewhere probably bet on this very pause and made a killing. Meanwhile, regular Americans are just trying to survive. And where were the Republican members of this committee? Most of them left the hearing. Let that sink in. When the conversation got tough, when it was time to defend this broken policy, they bailed. They didn't want to be on record trying to defend the indefensible. This isn't leadership. It's cowardice. Let me be clear. As a left-wing patriot, I believe in American workers. I believe in strong trade policy that uplifts small businesses, protects labor, and ensures fair wages. But that doesn't mean slapping random tariffs on allies, tanking the market, and then pretending it's all part of some grand plan. We need policies that are rooted in reality, not rage. Policies that work for everyone, not just the ultra-wealthy or politically connected. We deserve leadership that respects institutions, that communicates clearly, and that doesn't play roulette with our livelihoods. If you're as fed up as I am, then it's time to demand accountability. Demand real hearings, real oversight, and real answers. This isn't about red or blue. It's about right and wrong. It's about whether we still believe in a government that works for the people, or whether we've just given up and handed the keys to a guy with a Twitter account and no plan. So yeah, WTF is going on? And who is in charge? Because from where I'm sitting, it's definitely not the trade rep, and it sure as hell isn't the American people. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more unapologetic commentary from the left, and share this with someone who needs to see it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How have these tariffs impacted you or someone you know? Let's talk about it. Until next time, stay informed, stay passionate, and stay patriotic.